Good afternoon, Grace. Loud and clear. Good. All right. Apologies for starting a little late. I'm in the physical training in Lagos. So this afternoon, we want to look at the fundamentals we are expecting to be released. By 1:30, we're going to be having the unemployment claims from the United States, flash manufacturing PMI, and flash services PMI. And these are the key events. Then 3 p.m., there'll be existing home sales. These are the major events for this pre-New York session analysis. Though later on today by 7:30, Bank of Canada Governor Macklin will give a speech, and later tonight by 11:45, there'll be retail sales in New Zealand, but we're not really bothered about all that. So we're focusing on the dollar. Now for unemployment claims, let's check out what this data, what it entails. It's a measure of the number of individuals who file for unemployment insurance for the first time during the past week. An actual less than forecast is good for the currency. And for flash manufacturing PMI, it measures the level of a diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers in the manufacturing industry. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. Flash services PMI measures the level of a diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers in the services industry. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. And the existing home sales measures the annualized number of residents, measures the annualized number of residential buildings that were sold during the previous month, excluding new construction. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So we can see the usual effect here for the unemployment claims is the only one that is different, where actual less than forecast is good for the currency. For the others, actual greater than forecast is what is good for the currency. So that tells us that what we're looking out for basically is whether the data is good or bad for the dollar. If it's good for the dollar, then we'll have a color green, as an outcome of that data. And if it's a green data with good data with color green, we're expecting a bullish movement on the dollar. If on the other hand, the data comes out bad for the dollar, either as greater than or less than, then the color will be red and we'll be looking for a bearish movement in the market. Now, since all these data are not related, unemployment claims has nothing to do with flash or services PMI, and both of them too don't have anything to do in common with existing home sales. So it's possible we may have some of these data conflicting against one another. It's possible to have some of them to be black, where actual be equal to forecast. Some may be red, some may be green. These are possibilities, but the best outcome will be to have a green, green, green all through, which will lead to a bullish movement, or a red, red, red all through, which will lead to a bearish movement. But like I said, it's also possible we may have a mixed data where some could be, good or bad or completely neutral. But then to make it clearer for us, to ourselves what to expect, I want us to go on the chart to see if there's any technical setup that can point us in a direction of where the market is expected to go. So as usual, we start with the dollar index. What is the dollar index saying? Now, at the beginning of the week, I told us I was bearish on the dollar index for this week, and as such, I expected a bearish move on the dollar. And that has happened just in line with the analysis. I said this on Monday that I was expecting USD CHF and USD JPY to sell this week. That has happened. I told you I expected gold to buy. Gold has bought to the tune of 750 pips this week before we saw the recent retracement that is happening. So what is the next move of the dollar? Now, on the dollar index, I'm not seeing any clarity at this moment as regards the next move of the dollar. All we have here is just a range. No clear support or resistance in sight. And if I flip over to the USD CHF also, we're not really having much clarity. Price sold up to Fibonacci 61.8. And from that point, we started seeing some kind of retracement. And currently price is trading around Fibonacci 50, which is equally a key level. So let me check on the USD JPY. For USD/JPY, price also has been selling, and recently price hits support at Fibonacci 61.8. We've seen a bearish trend all week, and price currently hits a support at Fibonacci 61.8. Now, since we have a support level at that point, and where price reacted, this is my outlook. If the data comes out good for the dollar, we may look at buying the USD/JPY, because price recently hit a support zone, which we identified with the Fibonacci 2. So if data comes out good, well, we may look at buying the dollar. Now, that doesn't mean that it's the overall trend has now changed from bearish to bullish. We're just reacting to what we are seeing with the Fibonacci 2. I will emphasize on that again. If the data comes out good for the dollar, you can buy the USD/JPY. Now, it's not a trade where you want to stay perpetually on. If you can catch some 10, 20, 30 pips, just catch that and get out of the trade. If it comes out bad for the dollar, personally, I'll stay out because I'm not seeing any clarity as regards, the selling side of the dollar. So my outlook for the news this afternoon is the data comes out good, look for an opportunity to buy the US dollar. Buy the US dollar using the USD/JPY. That's my outlook. Now, there is another instrument I'm looking at, and everything seems to be falling in line, and that is the GBP/USD. Now, for the GBP/USD, I had an analysis session this morning where I said I was looking for a bearish opportunity on this instrument, and these are my reasons. Price closed yesterday at a resistance level and also with a rejection candle. And if we flip down to 1 hour time frame, we can draw a trend line right here and a second trend line, giving us a rising wedge pattern. I know a rising wedge pattern means price is expected to break out in the bearish direction. Now, price already broke out in the recent. You can see the breakout candle here. But then instead of selling, it bought the last 1 hour candle. So does it mean you should keep buying? Well, I still want to hold on to my bearish outlook because that's what I saw from the higher time frame. In a multi-time frame analysis, we're looking at price on the bigger time frame to understand the trend, while we look out for entry on a lower time frame. Now, on 1 hour, I can also see a key level here, a resistance turn support. So this last 1 hour candle was unable to break that, resistance turn support. So it was unable to break it. That's why we could see that retracement back to retest the trend line up there. But if it reverses downwards and breaks out below this resistance turn support, yes, the coast will be clear for a bigger bearish move on the GBP/USD. So if the news from the United States this afternoon, if it comes out all good for the dollar, just like what I saw on the USD/JPY, that will force price downwards on GBP/USD. All we need is to wait for a clear breakout of a new candle below this resistance turn support zone, and from that region we can trigger a sell on the GBP/USD. Now, if this works according to plan, what will be the projected profit taken on this instrument? I'll use my Fibonacci tool to identify that. So if price breaks out from below the support zone, you can target the next level there, which is Fibonacci 50 and Fibonacci 61.8. Now, price movement from The entry to Fibonacci 50 can give as much as 25 pips, and to Fibonacci 61.8 can give as much as 50 pips. So both combined should give us close to 70 pips in profit, all things being equal. So I maintain a bearish outlook on the GBP USD while I look for a bullish trade on the USD JPY. And it looks like the GBP pairs are getting ready for some bearish movement, because I'm also looking at the GBP card, but this one is going to be a swing setup. What I showed you on GBP USD is an intraday setup. But what I'm about to show you on the GBP card is a swing setup. So you're there, you're a swing trader, then come closer. This is something you need to pay attention to. Now, for the GBP card, yesterday candle closed as an evening star, even though I would have preferred this candle to be a full candle, but nonetheless, we can still use it the same way. So on the daily time frame, we have an evening star candlestick pattern, and it closed at a resistance level. We flip down to the 4-hour time frame, and this is what we have. On the 4-hour, we have a perfect looking rising wedge pattern. And in order to play safe, we need to respect that there is a previous support zone around this area. So what we're going to be looking at for now is a new candle that will break out below the trend line and below this support zone, and we can trigger a sell on GBP card. Also, additional confirmation is that your RSI should be clearly below 50 at the point of entry. So I'm bearish on GBP USD on 1 hour. I'm also bearish on GBP card on 4 hour. And profit potential on this GBP card setup, don't forget, like I said, it's a swing setup. So if you're an intraday trader, please stick with the GBP USD. This is strictly for swing traders. Fibonacci 50 can give us as much as about approximately, let's just say 60 pips. Fibonacci 61.8 can give us about 100 pips, round figure. So 61 on 100, that's about 160 pips in all that we can target on this setup on GBP card. All right, so that'll be all this afternoon analysis. If you're yet to be in our 5X signal group, you're missing a lot. You are really missing a lot. Just reach out to your account manager. They will guide you on how to get to the 5X group. The goal of the 5X group is to actually multiply your account by 500%, within a period of time. We're not putting time frame to it. It could be in the next 1 month or 2 months, but that is the target, to have your account grow from the current level it is to 5X. Meaning if you have $1,000 in your account, the goal is to push that account from $1,000 to $5,000. So if you're here to build a group, reach out to your account manager. They will guide you on how to be a part of that group. We're bearish on GBP USD. I already said that. There's no setup on gold at the moment. No signal. If you want signal, more signals are in the signal group. That's the 5X group. How can you get your account manager? Okay, if you look through your phone, whoever has reached out to you from PU Prime, with a phone call, with a WhatsApp chat, that person is your account manager. That's for Daniel. So you can go ahead and reach out to that person, as your account manager. Okay, Reboa, okay, GBP, JPY, New Zealand, JPY. All right, I'll check both now. Now, I gave my outlook on GBP, JPY at the beginning of the week. I said I was bearish on it. Now, price already broke out in the bearish direction according to analysis. So currently, we are experiencing a retracement. Retracement is ongoing, but I believe we will still have, if price is able to break out below this low, we'll have a further bearish continuation on the GBP JPY. So it's a bearish trend, on the GBP JPY. And for New Zealand JPY, you can see also from analysis at the beginning of the week, price already broke out in the bearish direction. But I will advise, if you're here to enter, just hold on. Price is currently trading at Fibonacci 38.2, which could act as a support. If you want to make an entry, wait for a retracement and a breakout below that level before you can trigger a sell on the New Zealand JPY. But it's bearish, and further confirmation to a bearish trend is the formation of this head and shoulder pattern here. But like I said, it's not the best time to enter now. Wait for price to break out below that Fibonacci level to make an entry. Madam Onaji, GBP AUD. Now for GBP AUD, there is no setup on this instrument at the moment, but then you can look out for a reversal if price, gets to this resistance level on the daily time frame. The current candle is a bullish one, but then if you wait for price to hit that resistance level up there, then we can anticipate a reversal, from that point. So wait for price to hit the resistance, then look for a reversal. And you can take it down to 1 hour. The one I'm showing on the screen is a 4-hour setup. We can take it down to 1 hour time frame. So we're looking for price to hit this region, then drop. So we can anticipate that by drawing our trend line and a second one at the back to form a rising wedge pattern. So we can have this, running in anticipation that price will hit the upper trend line, and reverse and break out downwards. So we still hold the bearish outlook on the GBP AUD. So you can see that most of the GBP pairs are having bearish outlook: GBP USD, GBP JPY, GBP CAD, GBP AUD. That means there's a weakness generally on the British pound. All right, so that's going to be all this afternoon. Do trade safe and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.